So today we'll just, again, talk about the standard doc names. We'll talk about their impact and how they can impact you and your team's workflow, as well as just some simple and creative ways how they can be used to save you time. All right. So let me start by hopping over to Pipeline. And first talk about what standard doc names are. So like I mentioned, they are a method of bringing consistency or uniformity to your doc names. So I'm going to head over to the standard doc name setup area. So creating or setting up your doc names here will allow you to specify the doc names you want to be used across your account. And by adding them here, that means whenever anyone is adding a doc to a transaction, they'll be presented with this list of doc names in their drop-down list when they're going to name that document. Okay, so again, that consistency is huge. You do not want docs with all kinds of names, whatever an agent decides to name something in their own fashion, or whatever a scanner happens to name something when it's uploaded to the system, etc. So again, having these is huge. So let's talk about the second major benefit, and that is ease of entry for the agents or admins. So I'm on a transaction now, and like I mentioned, whenever a doc is being added to a transaction, there'll be the opportunity to see these standard doc names. Those will automatically show up. So that means whether you are uploading a doc, whether you're assigning it from unassigned docs, whether you're breaking it apart or merging it, right? There's whenever you're doing those things, you need to name the doc in those cases, or when you're editing a doc, right? You always get the name there as well. Okay, so let's upload a doc here. Let me select a couple docs. So notice when I selected some docs here, as soon as I'm presented with the page that has the setup to be able to name those docs, automatically the doc name is highlighted and I get presented with this drop down of standard doc names. So really, I could keep that default if I wanted to and move on to the next field, or I could type a letter. Let's say I type A, right? It's going to reduce my selection to those document names that either first start with the letter A or have the letter A later in that document name. Okay, so really, in most cases, even with really long lists of document names, we're talking about typing 1 or 2 characters before I've got a limited list of docs that I'm very likely to use, right? And then I just select it. So super, super, super easy just by typing a letter or 2. So that's what I meant by ease of entry. I actually can't remember the last time I've actually typed a full document name. I'm almost always selecting based on a limited list here. All right. And again, that's whenever a doc is named to a transaction. So they've always got that in their face at those times. Now, if they encounter a doc name that is not in the list, they can still enter it. That way you're not stopping them from continuing with what they need to do. So if it were, it happens to be there, but if it were mold disclosure, right, or mold disclosure B, whatever, I can type my own custom name, doc name. All right, so super easy to enter. And now another benefit, so those are the 2 main features, and most people are aware of how those work. A little lesser known is doc name matching. Doc name matching is when, let's say I'm on a transaction. I'm going to head back to Bluebird Lane here, actually. Let's say I'm an admin and I'm coming to take a look at these docs to make sure they're complete, etc., so that I can check them off of the list over here. What doc name matching allows is that when I click on the doc name of a particular document to take a look at these docs to make sure they're completed, what's going to happen is over on the left, it's going to find that matching task for me so that I don't have to hunt for it, especially if I've got a super long list of tasks, right? So it makes it easy to find that. So watch again what happens when I click on this doc name. It's going to scroll down and find the first matching doc. so that I can easily, I'm taking a look at this, pretending it looks good, and then I can actually go and check that off. So that's doc name matching. Now, by matching, what we mean is that the doc name is contained in the task name, right? So if I were to, for example, click on HOA, it's going to actually jump down and find the first task that contains HOA. So that's what it means by matching. The doc name is contained in the task name. So that means when you're naming your docs and you're naming your tasks under admin, you just want to be sure that they, again, match. One is contained in the other. Doc is contained in the task. Okay. So, and that'll save you a ton of time off these tasks and need to match those up. Alrighty. And then the last little tidbit I wanted to mention about that really helps you be more creative, or keep it simple. The simple list is the simple way is adding your standard doc names to that list in whatever form that they are. But you could have a need, let's say you've got multiple offices and those offices use different doc names, a different set of doc names. You could prefix your doc names with, let's say, the location name, right? So maybe Broadway is the name of the location, and I'm abbreviating it BRD. So Broadway agency disclosure, Broadway earnest money deposit, Broadway mold disclosure, etc. So that way, when someone gets to that drop down, maybe they type BRD to see all of the BRD document names. Okay, that's one applicability of it. It could also be maybe you want to just order, have the doc names appear in a particular order. Maybe more ones that are more used, you want at the top, or for whatever reason you want to order them. You could use numbering or maybe lettering. Maybe I'll start with an A or some other character, etc., to go ahead and order those in a particular order so that certain ones float to the top or go to the bottom, etc. Okay. Or whatever other categorization you might want, right? There could be some other categorization besides location, some way that you want to prefix the doc name so that it falls in a certain order. You can certainly do that. And again, just you can get creative with it depending on whatever your needs are. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Other than, again, just encouraging you to use those because they can be so powerful, both with ease of entry for whoever's adding the doc, as well as just that clean consistency in keeping your account orderly and organized.